This episode's topic will be discussing the experience I had of seeing Dreary for the first time at Conjurin Coffee. So, whether you're a fan or just like learning about new music, stick around. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and welcome back to the program. Welcome to a brand new episode. Before we get underway, we do have to do the Game Rage No Curse Minute, where we kill the first 60 seconds of the program in order to play nice with the YouTube algorithm with no cursing and no swearing whatsoever. And I'd just like to say, for everybody that has been subscribing on YouTube or even liking and commenting on our videos, we sincerely appreciate it, and especially those that have been listening on RSS, Apple Podcast, or pretty much any other digital streaming platform. We sincerely appreciate you. Please continue to listen. It keeps us motivated. It keeps us wanting to make more episodes, and that'll be the Game Rage No Curse Minute. I want to start off the episode by apologizing for previously mentioning on the episode where I covered Dreary's EP. I said something along the lines of wanting to go see them perform at O'Donovan's Pub for their EP release show and never following through on that. I was planning to make a recap episode about that and also posting their set, but I ended up not going, and I didn't see them perform at the Haven a couple weeks after. So I thought this was my last opportunity to see them, or I treated it as such, that this would be the last opportunity to see them perform. I drove out on Friday night, October 24th, to go see them perform at this coffee shop called Conjurin Coffee. And this place is located just outside of the shopping center on Central Avenue, intersecting with the 91 freeway, or rather Central Avenue intersecting with the 91 freeway. And I wasn't really sure what to expect. And I ended up parking kind of closer towards Magnolia Avenue. And I parked near this Alberto's, man. And if you are familiar with the area, there's so many goddamn Alberto's. There's like 10 on Magnolia Avenue alone. And on top of that, there's all these different fucking variations. There's like Alamios and Albedos, or who the fuck knows. But I parked there. I walked over to the coffee shop and I got to see where this thing was going to be set up. So there was like a driveway that was adjacent or parallel to Conjurin Coffee. And just after the curb and where the pavement started, there was like a canopy set up where this person was selling churros. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So then I walk a little bit further and I see like these two speakers set up. And I guess some of the bands were setting up their own stuff. And at that point, I was considering just going home because I didn't know what to expect in terms of sound. And it's such a terrible perspective to have on music, because when you're looking for new music, you shouldn't be picky about where you're going to see stuff, because you never know what you're going to see and who's going to surprise you. But I guess in recent memory, my perspective has changed, that I would like to see more, I guess, spaces that are a bit more professional in sound, because, you know, if I'm recording a set of a band, I want them to sound good so I can post it. And yeah, that comes into play later. But anyways, so I was like hanging around the area. I was like, where the fuck am I supposed to pay or not? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. There's nobody, there's no person at the door or just hanging outside of a perimeter to take money in and to give you like a ticket. So I was just under the impression that this was going to be free, which it was. And for the longest time, I was just hanging around waiting for the bands to start. And I will say that the first band that I heard, Headless, while I don't remember their music because I should have made this episode right after the fact that I came home, but I actually like this band called Headless. Like I said, I can't remember what type of music they played. I think it was kind of like Paramore-ish, but there might have been more to it than that. And shortly afterwards, a band called Jacobin, that makes me think of Jaco Beam with an M as opposed to the letter N as in Nate. Yeah, it made me think of Magatu from Zoolander, but this band, I don't know. I wasn't really all that much into them. I think they were kind of like grungy type of sound, or grungy or shoegaze type of sound. Wasn't really all that much into it. And then Dreary eventually hopped on, and I had seen Natalie, who's the vocalist of the group, walking around in the audience and also like gathering all the instruments and stuff so that they could hop on next. I'm like, oh, cool. So at least I think that's her. So then they eventually, the whole band sets up and they start playing, and it's not great. I mean, it's not so much the band's fault as it is, I guess, the sound guy. And not to discredit the sound guy at all, I think he was making the best of what they had available to them. And for the first three songs, they did not sound that great because I couldn't even hear Natalie's vocals. But as far as like the instrumental portion between the two guitars that are featured and the bass, in addition to the drums, he got the sound guy got it right in that regard. And then once we get to the fourth and fifth song of the set, which was Dim and eventually Hummingbird, I'm not really sure what happened, but it feels as though the sentiment of the crowd or the air had changed, or something felt different compared to the other bands. Like we weren't just watching Joe Jackoff or some other run-of-the-mill local band. These guys looked like they were serious business, or that they were serious about their music, and it just felt that way at the start of their set. Like I said, the mix wasn't that great. I couldn't hear Natalie's vocals at the beginning, or rather through 3/5 of their set, and somebody was in the crowd with the shaved head who I came to find out was her cousin, and he was kind of wandering around to make sure that the sound guy understood that the vocals from Natalie weren't coming through. And yes, by Dim and Hummingbird, they had it somewhat right, although again, the instrumentals were still dubbing over the vocals. But they are a very tight group between the two guitar players, in addition to the bass and drums. These guys are very fucking tight, and Natalie has these very ethereal vocals that, I don't know, man, you just want to like close your eyes and vibe out to. And there was like these two black guys that I was standing next to that they were just bobbing with the music and like throwing up hands, because I don't know, man, I think we all knew that we were watching something special, and it wasn't just any other band. And it felt like it really sank in when it came to Hummingbird, which was like the end of their set. They only played 18 minutes. But I guess less is more in the case of Dreary. They didn't need a 30-minute set to have an impact. And I only needed one or two songs to be convinced that this is a band to pay attention to, from Pomona, California. And I was under the impression that they were from Fontana, California, but I guess they're from the Pomona area, which explains why they have been playing local to Pomona at the Haven, O'Donovan's Bar, and some of the other local venues and stuff. So that was something I picked up on when I spoke to them afterwards. And it appeared that there were probably 30 to 50 people in attendance, which actually wasn't a bad turnout considering that it was Friday night when there's numerous things going on. And among those things, the Dodgers playing the Toronto Blue Jays in the World Series, as many people are probably going out to bars and watching the game, or just, nighttime activities, going out to clubs, or just doing other things, I guess. But like I said, not a bad turnout for the band, and they did a excellent job performing. That drummer Mateo is a killer on the drums. I think I saw his Instagram profile, and he's like in 5 different bands, which was surprising to see. So after the fact of Dreary's performance, I spoke to Natalie briefly and just told them that I just wanted to talk to them after they're done cleaning up. So after the band got all their shit cleared off the, I guess, stage, quote unquote, so I walked up to them, introduced myself, told them how much I appreciated their music and that I thought they had a lot of potential. And for me to actively look for music for 6 years straight here locally and just around the world in general, there are definitely outliers in different communities and genres. And to me, Dreary is an outlier in the shoegaze, alternative rock, perhaps even new metalish sound amongst the artists that are here in Southern California. They, to me, are definitely a standout. So I started asking them a lot of questions, and I started off with asking them about why they've been playing in Pomona so much. And it was revealed that one of the members lives in Pomona, so that's kind of why they've been playing so much in that area. And then at some point, the vocalist Natalie had I guess recognized my voice, and I'm like, man, there's no fucking way that these guys listen to this the podcast that I make. But she's like, hey, your voice sounds familiar. Are you the guy from the podcast that has been talking about your music? And didn't you say that you were going to come to our EP release show at O'Donovan's Pub? And I was like, oh, fuck. She caught me, man. I was ready to fucking walk out. I knew that was going to come back and bite me in the ass, but I was like, there's no way. There's no fucking way these guys listen to this shit. But, yeah, I guess they heard the 2 episodes that or rather 2 episodes that I made, and they listened to it, and I don't know, we had a nice little laugh after that. One of the things that I had mentioned to them was when I was listening to them perform Hummingbird, it felt like I was listening to my own Deftones, like that song that everybody hears all the time, Change, in the House of Flies, I think it's called. I'm not like a huge Deftones fan, but I thought, man, this band, I just can see the potential within them, and I think they could escalate to that level of success if they play their cards right. And then the only thing that I added at the very end is, I told them that I would reach out to people that I knew if they can be helpful to them in any way, because, time is money, man, and they have been active for like 2 or 3 years, and I definitely want to get the party started early. The sooner the better, right? So I just told them that I'd be reaching out to people that are in booking or that do management or talent buyers or promoters, because the more opportunities they have, maybe perhaps they would have more opportunity to find the right people that can help them get to where they need to. But beyond that, I didn't have anything else that I mentioned to them. I think we kind of parted ways, but it was just an overall good experience. I, shook every band member's hand, introduced myself. They told me their names, and it was just an overall good experience. And I hope I have more of those with more bands that I encounter, but I like these guys. I think they're serious. I think they're putting in their own time and resources into making this a viable project. And I'm going to be posting the last 2 songs from their set, which again were Dim and Hummingbird, because the rest of it, I don't think you should see that. So I'll just leave it with those 2 songs that will be posted at some point. It's probably going to be posted as soon as I make this episode, or post this episode rather. So be on the lookout for that so you can check out what Dreary sounds like live. They also have a YouTube video available on their channel for their EP release show that they did at O'Donovan's Pub that you can check out. So I'll post my video, and I will have their video at the end of this video on the end cards, so you can click on that, check out their shit. And after all this, make sure you follow them on Instagram, buy their merch, support them by going to their shows, buying their tickets, all that crap. I don't have anything else to add. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you all next time.